विश्वेश्वराय नरकार्णवतारणाय
Sadhguru, Namaskaram. You mentioned in your previous discourses that 30% of the illnesses are body, while the rest are mind-created. I just want to know, in case you do get an illness, how do you know that it's mind-created or it's of the body? And in case it's psychosomatic in nature, what would be the emotional and the thought pattern that's behind it? How would you find that out and correct it if possible? Thank you.
Suppose your right hand gets up and does funny things and smashes you, pokes your eyes, do you have an ailment or no? Yes, isn't it? For sure you have. That's exactly what your mind is doing, isn't it? It gets up, pops around, hurts you, pokes you, makes you cry, makes you suffer. Do you have an ailment or no? If your hand started poking at you, hitting you, beating you up, definitely you are sick, isn't it? Yes. So if your thoughts and emotions are poking you, strangling you, torturing you every day, aren't you sick, I'm asking? By your own definition I'm going. So, because this sickness is on, it will manifest in so many ways in the physical body. There is no question anymore. Every thought, every reverberation on the level of the mind, depending upon the type of reverberation you create, the whole chemistry is going through a change. It's all been measured. Right now you sit here and think about tigers, you have one kind of chemistry, chemical changes happen. You think about flowers, another kind of chemical change happens. All this has been measured. So for every thought, if the whole chemistry is going through thing, if your mind is in this state, you know what kind of soup you're making? You're a lousy soup. Not just lousy, poisonous. If you're soaked in this poisonous soup on a daily basis, how to know well-being? It'll not happen like that. We don't have so much control today in the world as to what we eat, what we drink, what we breathe, all of it is somewhat poisoned. Modern societies have started treating disease, ailment as a natural process, which is a serious mistake. Ancient societies always saw disease as something wrong. That's not how a man should be. A human being should not be in any state of illness, because illness means something fundamentally wrong. But modern societies have started treating this as normal, because there's an industry which thrives on you, very major industry. The second largest industry on the planet is pharmaceuticals. So, if the second largest industry on the planet is pharmaceuticals, there's too much lousy soup, isn't it? Every day you have to add something to this to make it… No. If you're willing, we can make this into a very wonderful soup. The chemistry is in a fantastic state. To be blissful is natural. If you do this, believe me, 70% of the ailments will vanish from the planet. Another 30%, there are many external influences which are not always in control. You cannot control that, only to some extent. So, if you're constantly creating a nasty chemistry within you, how is life within you supposed to understand you're seeking well-being? How? It's just unfair. Life within you thinks, he likes ailments and gives it to you. Yes? If you're poisoning your system from within, for which there is substantial proof where every thought and emotion, the chemical composition of your body is changing, if you're creating poison from within you and you want to live well, how is it? Life doesn't work like that. Unless you do right things will not happen to you.
Lethargy comes from overconsumption of either food or thought. One may think how overconsumption of thought would bring lethargy, though everyone can understand overconsumption of food definitely brings lethargy. Well, if you become consumed by thought, you will see you would not like to move out of your bed. I did not talk about thinking, I'm talking about overconsumption of thought. That means thought is continuously flowing without your effort, without your focus, without your intent. Once it becomes like this, you will see naturally you feel like avoiding physical activity. And when it goes beyond a certain point that you get totally possessed by your own thought, well, there are ugly names to describe that in medical terms. It's important. There is a certain amount of moderation in consumption of food and the endless amount of thought that could happen. Thinking consciously and just consuming or living upon thought or being consumed by thought are very different things. That is an unfortunate reality that for a whole lot of people, this distinction is not apparent, and the price that humanity is paying for that is not a fair price. The conclusions that you make in your mind will seriously impede your ability to experience life. The stronger your conclusions are, the more you get identified with it, the more the psychological reality that you have seems like existential. Almost 90% of the human suffering is in just this. You misunderstand your psychological drama to be real. It's your drama. You can play it whichever way you want. If you're a good director of drama, you would make it the way you want it. Otherwise, it's happening haphazardly. Well, this is the reality of existence. How beautiful it is, but most people choose to live in their mind because they have made strong conclusions and it's no more a choice as to where they live. It's time you live on this planet, experience the beauty of creation and also the presence of the Creator in this creation. Just pay enough attention to every aspect of creation and you will see the presence of the source of creation in it. This is what you need to experience. The psychological drama is your making. It is too puny compared to the existential drama that's happening here. It's time you enjoy this. It's my wish and my blessing that you must get out of the prison of your own mind and know the beauty of creation. The fundamental, the most fundamental aspect that you need to take care of is that you don't make conclusions. If you do not make conclusions, the doors of your mind will not close.
If you apply only your intellect, ignoring other aspects of your intelligence, you will get confused about every little thing in life. Because intellect is a cutting instrument, it's like a knife.
If you want to dissect, it's a good instrument. But if you try to sew with a knife, you will be left in tatters. Well, that is what most human beings are experiencing right now, that they are using a cutting instrument to stitch, to put things together. Well, the more effort that you make, the more into bits and pieces human beings will become within themselves. There was a time they divided the world, then they divided more and more. You have seen this, there was a time people could live together. There were families in India where there were 400, 600 people in one family living in one house. Then slowly it became just parents and children and grandchildren. Now grandparents became a little bit of a problem, so we send them elsewhere. Now children become a problem, we send them elsewhere. And slowly husband and wife are living in separate houses, meeting on weekends. Not just that, within yourself you split yourself into many people by cutting yourself into pieces, because this is the process of dissection. If you use only your intellect for every dimension of life, this is where you will get. One day you will get schizophrenic, yes. So it's important, the other dimensions of intelligence come alive within you. Without those dimensions of intelligence being alive, your heart wouldn't beat, your liver wouldn't function, your kidney wouldn't function, all this wouldn't happen. This is not done by your intellect. So there are dimensions of intelligence within you which must be explored and brought alive into your conscious nature.